Millionaire's guests insulted the waiter's daughter. Then she revealed a talent they couldn't believe. It happened inside a mansion where chandeliers dripped like diamonds, and laughter echoed with arrogance. But in the corner stood a child, small, silent. Clutching her father's hand, they mocked her. They humiliated her. They treated her like nothing. But here's the twist. This little girl carried something inside her, something that would silence every cruel laugh in that room. And when she revealed it, the crowd would never forget. So, what happened that night? Watch closely. Charles Duval's mansion wasn't just a house, it was a world. Perched high above the city, it seemed to float above ordinary lives. Its marble floors stretched endlessly, polished so perfectly, they reflected the light of chandeliers that hung like constellations. Every summer, Duval opened his doors to the elite. His parties weren't simple gatherings, they were rituals. The wealthy came to be seen, to flaunt, to remind the world that they were untouchable. Black cars rolled up the driveway like a parade of kings. Women draped in gowns worth more than houses glided through the grand hall. Men in tailored suits shook hands, exchanged secrets, and made deals over champagne. The air itself was thick with wealth, and somewhere in that world stood Daniel, a waiter, a servant, a man invisible among giants. For 15 years Daniel had worked in silence, carrying trays, pouring wine, and bowing when spoken to. He had learned the art of disappearing, of blending into the background so seamlessly that even the walls seemed to have more presence than he. But tonight was different. Tonight, he wasn't alone. At his side was Lily, his daughter, 12 years old, thin as a reed. Her dress was neat but old, carefully mended in places where the fabric had worn thin. Her shoes scuffed but polished, as if her father had spent hours trying to make them shine. Daniel hadn't wanted to bring her. He knew this world wasn't for her, but he had no choice. There was no one to watch her at home, and so he whispered promises. Stay quiet, stay close, no one will even notice you. At first it worked. She sat silently in a chair tucked to a corner of the hall, watching the glittering parade of people flow around her. Her eyes wide, her hands folded tightly in her lap. But invisibility has a time limit, and as the night stretched on, as the laughter grew louder and the wine stronger, someone noticed her, one pair of eyes, then another. Then whispers began to spread, whispers that soon turned to laughter, and laughter that soon turned to cruelty. Lily's presence had broken the illusion of perfection, and the wealthy never forgave imperfection. What began as curiosity was about to become something far worse. The first whispers were soft. Who is that child? She looks so out of place. A woman leaned toward her companion, her diamonds glittering with every movement. Honestly, imagine bringing a child here. How inappropriate. The man beside her chuckled. She must be one of the staff. Look at her. She doesn't belong in this room. Their voices spread like smoke. Guests began glancing toward the corner, eyes narrowing, lips curling. Lily felt the weight of their stares. She pressed herself deeper into her chair, as if she could vanish into the wall, but they wouldn't let her. She looks like she's wearing rags, one woman sneered. That dress is patched. And those shoes, another added, her voice dripping with disdain. My maid wears better. The laughter grew sharper. Daniel's hands trembled as he carried a tray past them. He heard every word, every insult directed at his little girl, but he couldn't stop, couldn't speak. In this world, his voice had no power. And then it escalated. One man, loud and cruel, called across the room. Waiter, why don't you introduce us to your daughter? She's adorable. The words were soaked in mockery. The hall erupted with laughter. Daniel froze. His face burned red. His hands shook so violently that the glasses on his tray nearly toppled. He wanted to disappear. He wanted to shield Lily, but he was trapped. And Lily sat frozen. They turned her into a spectacle, firing questions at her, laughing at her silence. Every second was another humiliation. And then her eyes drifted to the corner, to the grand piano. It stood polished and perfect, gleaming beneath the golden lights, untouched, waiting. Her gaze lingered too long, and they noticed. Oh, one man sneered. She wants to play? The room roared. The idea was absurd, ridiculous. A waiter's daughter, touching an instrument worth more than her father earned in years? Go on then, another voice jeered. Show us what you can do. Daniel shook his head frantically, whispering, begging her not to, but the crowd demanded it. Their laughter rises like a wave, and then Lily stood, The room erupted. Every step she took across that marble floor was drowned in cruel laughter. Every eye pierced her like a blade, and just when they thought they were about to witness a disaster, she sat. Her small hands hovered above the keys. The room leaned forward, hungry to watch her fail. What happened next? No one was ready for. The first note rang out, not clumsy, not broken, but sharp, clear, beautiful. A silence spread across the... Her fingers moved again, another note, then another, and then the music began. It wasn't the hesitant fumbling of a child. It was power, grace. Her small hands danced across the keys with a speed and precision that didn't seem possible. The melody rose, fierce and unshakable. Every insult she had endured, every moment of being invisible, every tear swallowed in silence. It poured into the music. The crowd froze. The laughter vanished. Champagne glasses hung mid-air, forgotten. Even Charles Duval, the host himself, leaned forward in disbelief. This wasn't talent. This was genius. Her music soared higher. Notes like lightning crashing and burning across the golden walls. Some guests shifted uncomfortably, unable to look at her. Others sat rigid, eyes wide, trapped by what they were hearing. And Lily played as if the world itself was listening. Minutes passed, though no one breathed. And when she struck the final note, the sound lingered, trembled, faded, and then silence. A silence so heavy, it felt like stone. No one clapped, no one spoke, because they knew they had been destroyed by the very child they tried to humiliate. Lily rose slowly from the piano. She didn't smile. She didn't bow. She simply walked back to her father. Her eyes brushed across the crowd, one by one, and every guest looked away. The same mouths that mocked her couldn't summon a single word. Daniel's eyes glistened. For once, he didn't feel invisible. Because his daughter had revealed the truth. Wealth had failed them, power had failed them, cruelty had failed them, and in its place stood a girl in a patched dress, stronger, brighter, louder than all of them. Some guests tried to recover, forced polite smiles, muttered half-hearted compliments, but the music lingered. It haunted them, because in that mansion, they hadn't just heard notes, they had heard their cruelty exposed. That night, Lily and Daniel left with nothing in their pockets, but they carried something priceless, dignity. And sometimes, dignity is louder than gold. So the question remains, how? Many children like Lily are hidden among us, mocked, ignored, dismissed, when in truth they carry a brilliance the world desperately needs.